Hi everyone. So I just finished finally over 200 something episodes of The Big Bang Theory. And I do not know how to describe this any better than to say it was 50% funny, 50% so not appropriate. Like, I dare you to find one episode where something like sexist or homophobic or, racial, where there wasn't something like that. Because I could not believe, like, the later it was getting into the years, I was thinking that the writing would get better because, like, we've been evolving as a society on some levels, but nope, like, right up until the last episode, I just was like, oh, like, it was so cringy. They did good casting. Like, I liked all the people that cast. Sheldon was funny, but I'm also 50-50 on him. I mean, I know that they didn't say that he was autistic in the show, and that it's supposed to be like assumed or known or something like that, but I didn't really care much for how that was portrayed. Like, I think I had mentioned that I heard the, like, creator based the character of Sheldon off of himself or something. So, like, if that's an accurate portrayal and the guy really is, like, that much of a dick, then good job. But I don't know that that's the case. I just thought that it was a bit over the top, and I will not be watching it anymore. Like, I'm definitely not adding that to anything that I would want to watch again, and that list is pretty small anyways. But yeah, not my favorite. Not that anybody cared about my opinion, but I gave it anyways. And I think last time I mentioned I was going to make an episode out of like what's going on between Alicia and I. However, I don't know that I have like enough for a whole episode on that because I feel like I would just be repeating myself for those of you who've been following along. I had made the comment like a couple of times, maybe more than that, that if I didn't find out that I'm autistic, I really feel like we would be divorced. I mean, like, Alicia seems to think otherwise. My therapist seems to think otherwise, but I don't know, like, how they're seeing that, because in my mind, when we had that really rough, like, 6 months in our marriage where, like, it was so close to, divorce. Yeah, I don't know what I just said. Oh, man. I guess it doesn't matter what time of day or night that I record. My brain sucks. What was I saying? Last year, something. I don't know. Last year, I didn't know that I'm autistic. So her depression was like in full force. It was just kicking her butt. It was making things difficult. But like our communication continues to like get better, but there's still like rough patches. And sometimes we think that we communicated something when we didn't. So that's a difficult one to try to navigate. But, that part last year, I personalized it. Like I had mentioned before, I thought that like her moods were about me, that like just all kinds of negative things. I came up with all kinds of stories to try to explain away her behaviors that made sense to me. And that was the story that I came up with was, she doesn't want to be with me. Like, I don't know. It was all negative stuff. But now, I find out that I'm autistic, and it looks like we're having a repeat of last year because we're already like headed toward the end of April, and our rough patch was from, I think it was like I said January to like June of last year. So it's about the same. Like, I'm thinking back over the last like 4 months, and a lot of the same things have occurred, like her depression. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, because it's getting springtime again or something. I don't know. But it has its flare-ups, and the behaviors were very familiar. And I was thinking back, like, like, I'm so glad that I know that I'm autistic, because now I know, like, I don't have to personalize her stuff. Like, it really isn't about me. I think I've talked about this stuff before too, but I don't see, I don't see any other way. Not that, like, this is a puzzle that needs to be solved, because it's not. I just, when you have, like, you've heard other people share the same perspective, but you have a hard time seeing it from, like, their side. So, like, that's why my mind is just stuck on, I really think we'd be divorced if I didn't figure out this autistic thing. But does that sound, like, selfish or, like, narcissistic? I don't know. I just feel like I have more information about, like, my own behavior and thoughts. So that is super helpful, because I did not have that last year. And that's what I was spending all that time trying to figure out, like, what the fuck am I missing? But anyways, things are fine. We're not, like, in a rough patch or anything like that. We're actually working through them, like, pretty quickly, which is thanks to years of therapy and self-awareness, because that definitely helps. But I was thinking about, like, previous relationships I've been in, and I don't know that, like, I did an actual episode about relationships. I could be wrong. My brain's broke. Not because I'm autistic, just other ways. But I don't think I talked about, like, intimate relationships. Not that, like, my friendship, well, no, those weren't intimate. I mentioned that those were pretty superficial. Yeah, I don't think I talked about relationships in an episode. Maybe just mentioned things here and there. So this will be new for those of you who just randomly listen to episodes. I don't know how you just listen to people's episodes not in order. No offense. I don't understand that. But yeah, I thought I would share, like, my history with relationships with people in, like, a partner kind of way, or ew, I don't like that word. Anyways, so my history's pretty short. In high school, I was with this one guy. I think I had talked about him before. We were kind of serious, but then he ended up, like, pretty clingy, and there was this whole, like, it was just this whole where there was, like, talks of a restraining order, like, he needed to stay away because he was just, like, following me around too much, and, like, I'd look outside the window, and he'd be, like, sitting outside on the sidewalk, so, like, that whole thing was kind of weird, and I knew that dude for, like, my whole high school. So, like, at that point, I think I was in, like, senior year or junior year, so a few years we'd known each other. So, like, that didn't end well between us. It's just, I was like, dude, you're a little too clingy, like, we can't do this anymore. I don't see us together, and it just didn't end well. So then I go into basic training for the Air Force, and then I finish that, and I go to tech school in Mississippi for command and control, and boy, do I wish I knew that I'm autistic, because I remember, like, and at the time, I was only 19. Oh my God, this was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, holy shit. I was 19, and because I had just had my birthday when I was at basic training, and I had this fear of, like, oh, like, life's getting pretty real now. You get more freedom in tech school. It's not as rigid as, like, basic training, but I was just pretty much afraid of, like, I didn't know how to do life. I remember having those thoughts. I remember having thoughts of, like, why didn't my parents prepare me better for me living out here in the world by myself? So what did I do? Remember, I was 19. That's my excuse. So I got a hold of that dude that things didn't end very well with in high school. And I was like, hey, I'm in Mississippi. I think that's how it went. I don't know. I was going to say hooked up, but not in that way. Like, I don't remember if he was already in the area or what the fuck was going on, but he drove a long way. I don't remember. It took him a long time to get to Mississippi, so I don't know from where, but he did it. And he seemed really happy because, remember, he was very clingy and he just was moving way too quick. And so I manipulated and I called him or talked to him somehow, email, I don't remember. And I was like, I made a mistake. I really want to be with you. It was all bullshit. Because what was I doing? I was hoping that he would want to get married while I was at tech school so that I wouldn't be by myself when I got out of tech school. Oh my God. Oh, that is terrible. I didn't do it. It just ended up being one of those things where I realized the first or second day in that I made a really bad mistake. I shouldn't have done this. And I honestly can't remember, but I think I might have ghosted him. I don't remember, if I said, I'm sorry, I changed my mind, or if I ghosted him. I don't know. It didn't get, we ended up not getting married, but I do remember that we were sitting in this office talking to someone about it, and they were looking at us like we were weird, which makes me think, I did talk about this already, because that sounds, familiar. I've recently mentioned that. I don't know, but, yeah, so, that was my first experience with, an actual relationship. I don't know. I was with a dude for, I don't remember how long in high school, maybe a year. I don't think it was any more than that. And, I did not like him. He was annoying as fuck, but, I seriously was willing to marry this motherfucker just so that, I wouldn't have to worry about how to, be on my own. Oh my God, how terrible would that have been? And so that was that. And then when I'm in the military, so I'm in for 5 years. I dated here and there. I don't even like using that word dated because who really does that anymore? Do people go on dates still? But I considered myself straight. I still do, but I guess that doesn't make sense if my spouse is a woman. So I don't understand that whole thing. But I've always been with dudes. I was never into chicks. And a lot of the guys I was with, I just got super bored with. And I didn't last very long with them. I've never been dumped. And on one hand, that's I'm pretty grateful I didn't have to experience that kind of rejection. Because I just did all the dumping. So on the other hand, I feel like an asshole because, I was not nice about it. And this was back in my 20s, and I was a bitch. I was just a straight up fucking bitch. And so I dated around. There's this one guy that I worked with, and he was in the same dorm building as me. He was just on the other side. We were both on the ground floor, and I was facing the parking lot and he was facing the back. And we tried a relationship, but it was just he just didn't want to leave his dorm room ever. And I get it, but there was nothing to do in his dorm room. I mean, there was, but we were not having sex at we didn't get to that point. But I'm just saying, there was nothing to do in his fucking dorm room. I wanted to go out and do something and he didn't want to, and it just got too boring, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't feel awkward about it at work, but I guess he did. I didn't feel bad about it. And I did have a couple of serious relationships in the military. I don't really know if I should use the word serious. I guess I should use the phrase longer term, maybe a few months at a time. This is so wretched. Yeah, I was just a bitch to guys. not because they're guys. I just got bored. I was never taught, like, how to, like, and this is the truth. Like, I did not know how to, like, break up with somebody, in a nice way. So, like, I think I did ghost the dude the one time, and then the other time, like, I wanted to see this one dude, but I was technically in a relationship with this other guy, so I called the other guy, and I was like, look, I'm not really feeling it, and I just wanted to let you know because I'm here with this other dude, and I don't want to cheat on you, so I'm calling and breaking up with you now so I can go be with him. Oh, that is kind of funny, but whatever. That was not nice, and I do feel bad about that. And that's kind of how, like, my breakups have gone. I've sent emails. When cell phones became a thing, I'd break up via text. Like, it's not because, like, it honestly wasn't because I was afraid of hurting their feelings and then, like, them being upset in person or anything like that. It was just because I literally, like, was bored with them as a person, and I just didn't feel like it was that serious of a relationship to go and have, like, a huge discussion about, I guess. I don't know. I was not nice to people. Yeah, and then this one guy, when I was a few months out of getting out of the military, he was like, like, I wanted to talk about maybe we could get married because he was going to stay in the military and my ass was getting out. I did not want anything to do with the fucking military. I was just like, get me out. Like, I need freedom. And him and I had been together maybe 6 months, maybe 8, if I'm being generous. I don't know. It was so long ago. And I remember, like, I think I just strung the guy along, if I'm honest. And I knew it wasn't really going to go anywhere. And I knew that he was feeling more for me than I was for him. And so when he, like, talked about marriage, at that point, like, because he had come, I was staying in, like, I don't remember what it was called, like, billeting or something, like, the military inn. I don't fucking know. It's where you go when you have no home in the military and you either just got there or you're leaving. Then you go stay in some, like, military hotel thing. Like, I don't know. For those of you in the military shaking your heads at me, I'm sorry. I just don't fucking know shit. But he had come there because I was staying there for a while, and that's when he had brought up marriage, and I was like, dude, in my mind, this was going to be done by the time I got out of the military, so, like, the day before. And he was so surprised, and I don't blame him, and here I am laughing about it, and that's not a nice thing to do, but I just told him, nope, sorry. I do not want to get married to you. It's been fun, but, like, I'm gone. And then, so let me backtrack to, I think I did talk about this one. Yeah, this guy, he was a kid at the time. We were in 6th grade, 7th grade. Something like that. And, like, he was my first boyfriend, and he lived next door to me, and we had my first kiss in a, what do you call those? The toilets outside? Oh my God, my brain sucks. Like a porta potty. Yeah, that's where we had our kiss. So anyways, like, him and I were together as kids for, doing whatever. And then we separated, and then we hooked up again, like, when I got out of the military. Cause we hadn't seen each other since, like, we were in, like, 6th or 7th grade. And, we kind of, I don't know, like, we reconnected as adults, and it was fun, and he visited me, and I visited him. And then I started getting bored of him. Like, it was just not, I don't remember if I talked about this guy before, but, like, it got to the point, because at this point, I think I was, sorry about all the stupid talking. that I'm struggling with. What was I, my early 30s, I think? Or my late 20s? This was when I still was being a dick to people, but I was starting to feel bad about it. But I was still doing more of being a dick than feeling bad. So, it got to the point where he sold his, like, he was going to move here, and he sold his house, and he gave away his dog, and it was a husky, and he loved that dog, but, you know, he didn't want to bring it to New York, for whatever reason, and that was kind of like when it got serious in my mind, and I was like, oh shit, like, he really is moving up here. Like, he sold his house, he got rid of his dog, and, like, he had proposed to me, like, months before, so we were engaged, and, it took me a while to catch on to the fact that he was a narcissist, and I did not know what that word meant back then. I just knew in my, like, I didn't even know about the word narcissist. I just was doing some thinking, and I was like, yeah, like, he seems very about himself. And he would say things to me like, you know, because I was going to college at the time, and I was doing 2 part-time jobs. And he was like, when I move up there, you know, you're not going to do 2 part-time jobs. You know, you're going to do 1 because I want to see you too. And, like, maybe you just won't do any, and you'll just do school, and, like, I'll support you or something. It was just, it was not said in a supportive way. It was said in, like, a condescending way. And that was, like, when my ears started perking up, like, what? So what did I do? I got on Facebook, and I messaged him, and I said, I changed my mind. I don't want to marry you. You're a fucking dick. And I said some other stupid shit, like, the sex was bad, and, like, just dumb stuff. So, like, I was just a bitch, and that's how I broke up with him. And then I did, like, a PS, I'm sorry that you sold your house and gave away your dog. I mean, like, I can laugh about it now, right? Like, it's been so long, but, like, it's not something that really should be laughed about. Now that I do have a heart, it grew. I do genuinely feel bad that guy did that stuff. I mean, he was a dick, but, like, I really shouldn't have done that. I should have said something sooner, and I didn't, and yeah. And now I'm with a woman. So. Oh, God. So that's, like, my history with relationships. And then, go figure, the first female that, like, I get with, I end up marrying. So I guess that's it. Not that gender really, it doesn't matter, you know, it really doesn't. And that was another thing about that dude that sold his house. Like, I remember when I visited him the first time, he had this, like, homophobic poster up in his garage, and I commented on it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And he, like, gave it some excuse or something. And, like, I think he had proposed, like, before that. Yeah, I think he proposed before I gone to his house, and because he lived in Illinois. And he was, like, getting pissed because I didn't want to set a date. And I was like, look, because at the time, not everybody in America could get married. Like, if you were in a same-sex marriage, is what they called it back then. Like, you were not allowed to get married. And I had told him, like, I refuse to get married until everybody is allowed to in this country. And I've always believed that. And yeah, there was just a lot of red flags that I missed, but I was a kid. So where was I going with this? Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not questioning my identity or anything like that. Alicia's a person. She's a very nice human being. She's the only human being I've ever wanted to, like, marry and live with. And, you know, so she happens to be a female, and whatever. It's been a good time, so, I don't know what the point of this was. Yeah, I think the point was, like, maybe you can relate to some of this. I think that's what I say at the end of every episode because I don't know what else to say. But, like, that's legit, like, what my whole goal is every single time. But I'm going to end this now because I am starting to have a harder time talking. And that's my cue to get off of this thing here. And, yeah, if you can figure out what this episode was about, let me know. Bye.